Thanks to the great franchise with Johnny Depp in the leading role, pirates have become something romantic and even heroic for the modern world. That's ridiculous, as in reality they were not fun guys to be around with. Today we're going to live a day as the most ordinary pirate from the golden age of that profession. How the greatest empires hired pirates for their purposes. Why being a pirate was more prestigious than any other civil profession. And the one and only country of pirates. This is what awaits you in the forthcoming minutes. This is Smart Stories channel. We tell stories that make you think. Please meet our guest Marcus Barbarossa Rashford. Just like modern comedians, pirates put their nicknames in the middle of their first and second names. Some guys like Bartolomeo the Portuguese didn't use the second name, instead using their home countries or towns as a nickname. Sometimes they received their nicknames from their colleagues. A good example is the legendary Algerian pirate Deadhead. There's nothing mystic in his nickname, it's just this guy was so bold that his friends meant he had a dead desert on his head where not a single hair can grow. Well, our Marcus was nicknamed Barbarossa because of his huge red beard. Nicknames based on visual characteristics were the most popular. Long, fat, skinny, and even hard teeth. Pirates on the vast ocean had nicknames for any taste. Some didn't even bother taking fake names. Obviously, there's no particular historic era for piracy. They were always there. From the prehistoric raiders on rafts to the modern Somalian pirates with AKs. Even in the famous Odyssey poem, written by Homer, there are pirates. 3,000 years ago, Phoenician pirates plied the Mediterranean Sea. Although at that time, they mainly targeted coastline villages and not ships. They abducted the villagers to sell as slaves at some other places. In the next eras, there was no clear boundary between a pirate and a merchant. Each sea merchant had a team of soldiers, and if he noticed a sweet ship somewhere nearby, he just captured it and resold the goods. If there was nothing interesting in the area, the pirate just acted as a merchant and earned money anyway. Even the world-famous Julius Caesar was once kidnapped by Cilician pirates for ransom. It's not difficult to guess that immediately after ransom was paid, Caesar personally controlled the execution of those pirates. Since those times, piracy has been considered as one of the most serious crimes. At the same time, governments quickly understood that they could hire pirates to do a lot of dirty work, officially keeping their hands clean. And during wars, pirates were becoming magic wands as they knew the seas like gods. This is where many widely known names came from. Fleabusters, corsairs, cappers, privateers. All these terms were made up in different countries, but they all mean the same: legalized pirates. France, the Netherlands, England, and other countries gave indications to pirates during wars to attack specific ships. Also, they gave the pirates a document which protected them on their own territories. Under the protection of that paper, pirates easily docked in the governmental ports to replenish supplies and receive a lot of respect. There were hundreds of cases when pirates officially took high positions in the fleet of a country. A good example is Sir Francis Drake, an English pirate who used to attack Spanish ships. Once he sent a modest gift to Queen Elizabeth, money worth 2 yearly profits of the country. As a result, Francis was initiated into a lord and named as an honorary citizen of England. He was legally protected from any accusation of Spain. So our Marcus Rashford, nicknamed Barbarossa, naturally is a more low-ranked pirate. It is 1718, which is considered the golden age of piracy, and the lost one, as this was the year when the larger part of the pirates was eliminated. But for now, let us talk about the surroundings of our Barbarossa. He's on a ship which is located in Nassau, the modern capital of the Bahamas. Marcus stopped here for a purpose. Our guy is an official member of the Brethren of the Coast. In 1736, this pirate organization basically occupied the Bahamas, and Nassau was considered the capital of the so-called Pirate Republic. They even had their own flag. According to international law, these islands belonged to England, but in fact, the British authorities left and pirates easily deflected the attacks of the French and Spanish with the help of their ships and the fortress. There are a lot of tales about countries of pirates, but the Pirate Republic in Nassau was the largest formation, which indeed was a mini country. Marcus owns a ship, which is named Happy Delivery. Pirates did love to give names to their ships. Marcus Rediker, an explorer from the 20th century, analyzed names of pirate ships, and there was the word revenge in 18% of the cases. 15% of the pirates added the word wanderer to the name of the ship, and 10% tried to mention something royal. A good example is the legendary ship named Queen Anne's Revenge, which belonged to Blackbeard. It also appeared in the movies about Jack the Sparrow. As you may see, there are words revenge and queen in the name at the same time. Such names were mostly selected for psychological impact on their victims. Marcus's Happy Delivery is not an exception. It is 10 times smaller than the above-mentioned Queen Anne's Revenge and has only 30 people in the crew. But the thing is that a small size increases the speed of boarding. Barbarossa and his crew simply ram the targeted ship and just walk inside through the holds. This is why the ship is called Delivery, as they deliver fear. Usually, the opponent does not even have a chance to prepare for the fight, and to hit such a small ship from a cannon is almost impossible. Actually, the Pirates of the Caribbean reproduced the clothes and the appearance of the pirates quite close to the original. Usually, their bodies were almost entirely covered with tattoos, and not only for beauty reasons. Criminals often were labeled. The Spanish, for instance, burned the P letter and the crown on their bodies. The French, the lilies of the Bourbons, and the English preferred anchors and various coats of arms. We may logically assume that 80% of Marcus's crew consists of criminals, and it is no less logical that the guys covered the labels on their bodies with tattoos. Besides, the pirates were superstitious as hell. Amulets, talismans, charms, every respectable pirate had something of the kind. A lead bullet was covered in silver or gold to protect the owner from a Tater's shot. A bear's tooth guaranteed you would return home. Neptune's anchor helped in navigation, and a small battle axe almost guaranteed a victory in the upcoming battle. Also, a piece of knife or any other weapon taken out of a wound had to be carried in a pocket on the belt for protection. Pirates also liked astrology, as they carried their zodiac signs on a chain. But probably the most exotic detail is the amulet of sworn brothers. Our Barbarossa has one, and his sworn brother is a guy nicknamed Anthony the Long. The essence of this amulet is simple. It is a small vessel made out of a cactus and a drop of the person's blood who you consider your brother. Pirates swept their blood, covered the vessel with wax, and said goodbye. And if someday somebody gives Marcus his sworn brother's amulet, he has to leave everything and hurry to rescue. Pirate brotherhood is not a joke. By the way, there's no Jolly Roger flag on Marcus's ship. There's only the British flag on. In the hold, he has the French, Dutch, and other flags of more or less important countries. Also, he has a red flag with a skull, bones, and other merry things. In fact, the black and white Jolly Roger was registered in the Oxford Dictionary only in 1824. It is very simple. Sailing under that flag in the open sea is equal to placing a target over your head. Usually, the majority of pirates sailed under the flags of their countries, as many had licenses of cappers. Besides, there were less chances to get hit by a cannon. And if we're talking about looting a French ship, it's easier to approach it under a French flag, so as not to give the opponent time for preparations. And only after that, pirates raised one of the many pirate flags. Each of them had their own meaning. In Captain Richard Hawkins's logbook, you can find a detailed explanation on that matter. The captain, who was captured in 1724, said that if pirates approached you under a black flag that resembles the Jolly Roger, it means they are quite ready to review your surrender. But if pirates approach you with a red flag on, you have no chance to survive, so better get ready for a battle. We should warn again that despite all the romance, pirates were quite smart people. They knew that the best chance to win was to attack unexpectedly. That's why Marcus often approaches Spanish ships under the Spanish flag, so nobody has any doubts. Also, a code signed by all the crew members is placed in the most visible place of the ship. One of the first pirates to practice this was legendary Henry Morgan. This guy, who became famous for his violent raids, was in favor of the English government and even was appointed as a vice-governor of Jamaica. All thanks to the code, breaking the rules of which sometimes was even punished by death. Every captain could form his own code, and this is where Jack the Sparrow movies lie, just a little bit. There didn't exist a single document for all pirates. Captain usually made it up personally, and the crew members signed it. For example, Francis Drake's code was quite strict, but according to it, even the cabin boy received a reward after battle, and quite often Captain Drake ended up in the red to reward each member of the crew. Naturally, there are a few myths surrounding pirates, and maybe the most widespread one is drinking. Guys like our Barbarossa liked to drink, but on the majority of the ships in the sea, drinking was prohibited. Pirate's job is not that easy and requires concentration, so a drunk crew could easily drown in the first storm. The same can be said about gambling. Pirates loved gambling, but just like alcohol, they could gamble only in ports when they were off. In the sea, a good crew was a well-oiled machine in which every member knew its place. Eye patches did exist, but explorers think that this was a way pirates prepared their eyes for going down into dark holes. A closed eye usually adapted to half darkness easily. We're not going to talk about treasures, because a pirate's life was not really long, and very few of them lived to an old age, so there was no sense to hide any kinds of treasures for the future. Let's talk about the Pirates Republic in the Bahamas, where Marcus resides now. In 1706, an interesting thing happened. Massive wars between the countries ended, and they realized that it was much cheaper to negotiate around the table and not in the sea. Kings had no more needs in the services of pirates, and the hunt began. A large group of pirates was concentrated in the Bahamas and practically formed a small country. Legendary Edward Teach, nicknamed Blackbeard, is considered one of the most popular citizens of that country. There were dozens of other powerful corsairs in the Bahamas, and all of them were united by one thing: freedom. Barbarossa has had many raids, and now he knows he can go back home to get some rest and replenish his strength. The thing is that freedom killed piracy. The Republic didn't even have a ruler. Benjamin Hornigold was considered as one on paper, but in reality, that position meant nothing. In the Bahamas, there were no courts, laws, or anything that was out of the pirates' freedom. And when in 1717 England suddenly remembered that it officially owns the island, there was nobody there to fight for independence. The English acted unprecedentedly. They sent a former corsair Woodes Roger to the Pirates Republic, who had become a British military. He brought a real treasure to the Pirates Council, a document on amnesty. All the inhabitants were offered to become citizens of the empire, obey its laws, and in return the empire forgave them all their deeds. But pirates hated law, and many of them, including Blackbeard, refused the offer. As a result, the majority of the rebel pirates were simply killed. The survivors either obeyed the British Empire or went underground. What did Marcus choose? That's a mystery you can try to solve in the comments. If you like this video, subscribe to our channel. Thank you for watching, and see you soon. This is Smart Stories channel. We tell stories that make you think.